Welcome to Dr. TSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shivaprasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a grand welcome to a special show and a very special guest. He is none other than veteran air commodore Dr. HSR Arora. Swab ji, namaskar. आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है. I warmly welcome you. At this age, you say, I am no inferior to the youngsters when it comes to the agility or sharing the knowledge in times of distress when public need. Welcome to the special show, sir.
Thank you. So nice of you, sir.
I want you to bless us all with your wonderful knowledge. Before that, I seriously and sincerely want you to introduce yourself so that will be much better instead of me reading out the paraphrases.
Dear Dr. Shivaprasad Reddy, Tangela, and my dear friends, myself, it's Air Commodore Dr. HSR Arora. I hanged my uniform in 2007 after serving 39 years with Armed Forces. Armed Forces service has exposed me to the War of 71, Sri Lanka, then the war to the northernmost borders of the country, that is Siachen, then coming down. Then I've been to the Nagaland, been to the JNK sector in a big way, participated in Afghanistan and Iraq-Iran war for providing medical support. And presently, I'm doing a new type of a work, what is called a rehabilitation medicine. It's going to start soon a process post-COVID rehabilitative program for those who have suffered from a heart, lung, brain issues due to COVID. I do at Apollo Hospital, that is a cardiac rehabilitation process, pulmonary rehabilitation process, cancer rehabilitation, blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, psychiatrical conditions. It's a very unique evidence-based program. And me and my team, it is a new kind of a work which is done in entire world. And we have, I'm not raising it, we had 100% results, not a single loss of life. 10,500 cases.
Wonderful.
They all recovered.
Wonderful. God bless you, sir.
They had bad heart diseases, they had strokes issues, they had kidney failures, those who were on chemotherapy and recovering. So this science is beautiful. Today I'm going to talk something very interesting. For that, while in service, I did a study on NBCW, nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, medical defenses. It's a subject which generally in civil no one is aware, but armed forces we have to study this because today or tomorrow you have to participate in those events. And the knowledge and the speed and accuracy with the aim to save life and limb, that is the motto for armed forces doctors. So I'll be talking about this subject. This subject is really very huge, but I'll try and cover it in a small time frame so that we are fully aware now. At present in our country, how COVID made us prepared now, we need to be aware about this issue also, because we do not know what is in future, what is ahead we are going to face. And so the topic of the subject is nuclear holocaust at doorstep. Learn from Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Large number dying, and will die.
Shall I make you a presenter, sir? Shall I make you a presenter or you want me to presenter?
You can present. I'll be just talking about it.
Yeah. If you can
Should I? Because if you can run you have my slides now. You can run those.
Yes, I have, sir. I do have your slides. Can
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So it's on your
So
screen now. Are you
that
able
is
to
my
watch it?
first slide.
You're able to watch it, sir?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it.
Please, sir, go ahead now.
The second slide, it's basically shows USA's reactors. Purpose of showing this thing is there. If you look at the map of USA, second slide, please. Almost all the reactors are concentrated at one place. Mean in the, you can call it eastern part or the western part. And if something happens, it's going to cause a colossal damage to the world. Now, the third slide is basically the countries holding the world's nuclear arsenals. Russia stands number one, 6257, then United States, 5600. Then slowly going down the line, we are third from the bottom, 160 arsenals we hold. So, this is a nuclear arsenal. What is the importance of this showing all these things? No one wants to use it. It's a very purposeful, no country wants to use it. Because if one uses it, another can initiate, so it results into damage of a colossal in nature. Other day I was analyzing very interesting issue. Let's say there is a global nuclear holocaust. Can you imagine what will happen if all these arsenals get busted out? For 50 years down the line, we will not see the sun. The whole sky will be dark. Slowly, the northern part of the world, leaving aside South of Africa or countries or down below, the rest of the world there is going to be high, very low temperatures. It will be in minus. Slowly, all the vegetations will start disappearing, and there's going to be heavy snowfall accumulation all over Europe, US, Canada. You see it, Middle East, you see Russia, you see Eastern Europe. All these areas are going to be covered with that. Then subsequent 50 years, slowly the sun will start rising. So in that whole process, huge loss of human, huge loss of vegetations, huge loss of marine life, huge loss of life which is the animals. This will take it on. So it's a very serious issue. Every citizen of the world should be aware that we need to be careful about this arsenal. Now come the slide. You look at the concentration of nuclear arsenal in the Europe. Huge amount of those red color patches which are seeing it on those, they are, power plants.
Next
They
slide, sir.
generate electricity.
Next slide, sir.
Next.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are the areas, they are, susceptible risk. The way the world is going on terrorist strikes and all those things, they're all risky things. Concentration should have been avoided at one point.
So this red
Now
one
comes next slide.
These red spots are major nuclear sites in Europe, you meant to say. Am I right, sir?
Yes, yes. All these red you are seeing,
Yeah.
they're all generating electricity through the nuclear powers.
My goodness.
So that is the issue.
So any small incident, now Chernobyl 1986 is almost close by. Very close by.
Near, very near.
Very near.
So Windscape 57, then Lucents in 69. But all these things are susceptible to especially disasters, accident and terrorist attacks.
Okay, so they want some excuse like war.
Like our good Prime Minister keeps on saying about terrorists, the world need to join hands for this purpose.
Shall I play the next
So
slide,
now
sir?
you see now this shows the effect of Chernobyl, which spread in the entire almost Eastern Europe and some part of the Western Europe, Russia, and the ill effect is still continuous.
Goodness.
Don't think 86 Chernobyl took place and the matter is gone. You will be surprised in the deepest part of this reactor 4, the nuclear material, it is still burning. If you see the present day pictures, the steam comes out, the flue gases comes out, the radioactive gases are coming out. So it is still active because it is almost 2000 tons of that fissile material is still lying there.
Can you just,
We'll move to now.
for our viewers, can you just explain what actually Chernobyl is disaster is all about in few words? Because it's such a
Yeah. Chernobyl, actually, what happened? It's a basically electricity generating system. Nuclear energy is used for electricity generation in large number of Russia, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, USA, Canada, large number of them. Multiple purposes it is used. Also, plus it is used for making nuclear arsenals. So there is a full process is there. Daily testing is there. In Chernobyl, there was a biggest human failure. The scientists, the engineers, the caretakers, those who were bosses there, probably they didn't gel together, which resulted into missing it out on something and the blast took place inside. You will be surprised, all those bosses, three bosses were there. I won't name them. They are behind the bars from the last 18 to 19 years because it was a huge human error which took place in the early hours of the 1986. And at that moment, the one explosion took place, the second explosion took place. Then some of the firefighters, they gave their life to remove that water which was getting locked inside, because if it had converted into steam, it would have resulted in huge damage in the Europe. It would have been such a massive blast, should have taken away the entire Eastern Europe as well as Western Europe. And lakhs of people would have perished along with that. So they lost their life, but they were able to release that boiling water which was getting collected inside. So this is how the whole issue came up. And most surprisingly, that 2000 tons of fissile material which is still lying inside, no one can remove it because now it is totally shielded. I'll show you the slide how it is shielded.
okay.
Now no one can remove it.
My goodness.
So it is we are sitting on a
Time bomb.
very bad thing.
Time bomb. Anytime
Now
it
we
can.
come to
Next slide. Yes, sir. This is the slide.
and it won't go into explosion. Now they are since the Russian then they rectified, and there were a lot of issues came between once the investigation went. The design was wrong, handling was wrong, supervision was wrong, guidance was wrong. They never realized it will result into such a huge explosion.
Okay. Next one. Next slide. This is
Now
the one.
next we come to atomic bombing of Hiroshima, August 6, 1945, and then August 9 on Nagasaki. These were the first bombs which were used. So the little boy and the fat man, they were used in the aircraft which is side by B-29. Pilot, he was the Colonel W. Tibbets, Paul W. Tibbets. So damage it caused. An interesting part is the damage is still there because the whole earth, it is contaminated. So the cancer is prevalent. There is a damage. Abnormal children get born, even in animals, even in plants. The plants which generate, give a food and all, they're giving all toxic materials. So nuclear arsenal is not a simple thing. So one has to be very, very, very careful when they use it. It should not go to the wrong hands. You can see Hiroshima, what happened. Almost everything is destroyed. And in the side picture, you can see that aircraft after dropping the nuclear arsenal. Such a huge fire mushroom. It burned building, it burned everything. Nothing was left there. So this slide, if you see the aircraft, the bomb, and that mushroom. Huge mushroom of clouds of radioactive and fireball and whatnot. Now we come after that.
So this one, okay, I forgot.
Yeah. This is Nevada test site in US.
No, sir. Atomic bomb drop, which I am showing now.
Yeah. This is there is a testing site world over, like in US, Russia.
No, sir. Doctor sir.
A lot of countries have
Dr. G.
testing areas.
Dr. G, I have not changed the slide. I am showing atomic bomb drop in Hiroshima and that large that thing.
Okay. Mushroom cloud.
Yeah. So that is the mushroom cloud you meant to say. That is one.
Yeah.
Atomic drop in Hiroshima. And these are the pictures, right? Huge loss.
Next you go.
Next.
Another aircraft is flying and that bomb is getting dropped and this lands up into the Hiroshima. This is what effect it causes.
Huge loss.
Then we come to
is this
huge. And the interesting part is the loss is continuous. It has not stopped.
The loss is continuous. It doesn't stop.
And it will remain continue.
What is this, sir? Had troops participating in the exercise desert, it had a yield of 21 kilotons of TNT and was the first US nuclear field exercise conducted with live troops maneuvering on the ground. Troops were 6 miles from the blast, November 1, 1951.
Can you imagine about this issue altogether? All these soldiers, US soldiers, are only 6 kilometers away from the site. So they were gradually almost all got exposed. They developed a lot of cancers, they developed a lot of leukemia cases, multiple myelomas. Their bones, they became weak, they become osteoporotic in a young age. Because those days we were not even aware what all it can do. It was thought just like another shell or an artillery shell you fire, this blast has taken place, it will scare the enemy. No, its effects are phenomenal, just phenomenal. And wherever the test sites are there, the issues are still there. No one goes there.
Yeah. Should I change the next slide?
So, now you come to Chernobyl disaster, early morning, 26 April 1986. If you look at it, they had said due to 9,000 people died due to radiation exposure, although the Greenpeace claims figure could be as high as 93,000. No one is actually aware how many people died at that time, then subsequently, and even now. All the people, those who died, a concrete sarcophagus was built over there, even dead bodies. If you see the last one, dead bodies used to be buried in a lead casket with a cement mixed with zinc, and his burial used to be done. So people have gone and tested with the, Geigers, checking what is the radiation in that. The radiation is still very high. So even after 30 years, if you are getting a positive, issues out of it, yes, it is radiating the nuclear this thing. So it is not. It is quite dicey.
It's quite dicey.
So what happened? The crux of this slide is huge amount of cancers, cataracts, radiation sickness, and among children, leukemia. Still now, people are getting. Children are getting. Large number of psychiatric cases are into these areas. There is no coverage about it. No one speaks about it. Not even in a medical fraternity, they speak about it. But large number of them are having these issues.
Shocking.
We'll come to the 12th slide. This is the slide before Chernobyl disaster control room. Can you imagine? And this this happened to this after explosion took place. You can see both the slides together.
My goodness. The amount of damage, still the smoke, the radiation.
Smoke, even now the smoke is continuously emitting.
2000 tons still lying there and all the bodies are buried there only. Just imagine, very sorry
No
state
one
of
knows. Now you look at this site, all around they have created a thick concrete cemented wall so that no one should be able to go inside.
This one, sir. Next slide. Is this the one you want to say?
Uh, Below this, this is a 13 number.
Yeah.
And the slides next to it, if you look at this cemented pathway, it
Yeah.
was totally fractured,
Mm-hmm.
totally damaged.
Mm-hmm. My goodness.
So there are top 5 nuclear disasters have taken place with Chernobyl, Fukushima in Japan, Kishtym, Russia, Windscale in UK, 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania, and disaster like total 25 were there, whereas globally 99 such event has taken place, 1952 to 2009. So these disasters are taking place. Why do they call disaster? Because its radiations are crossing the boundaries of their countries. Radiations are going as deep as miles together into the earth core, deep core of the earth. So that is how everyone is affected: human, animals, plantation, micro life. So there is no one is escaped from there. This is a INES, nuclear and radiological event scale. This is a world has created it. When you call it accident 4 to 7, this thing 7, major accident, serious accident, accident and a wild. Issue is this: these things are existing, but it should be shared among all communities in the country. Reason being, tomorrow if such an event take place, it's not only army, police, or they alone will participate. Ultimately, it is going to be the human race going to be affected. So people need to be prepared for such eventualities. This talks about almost 10 events which took place in India also. Our whatever nuclear facilities are there, Tarapur, Kalpakam, Bulandshahr, Kota, but no loss of life took place. It did not cross beyond the reactors. They were minor accident, but accidents were there. And you will be surprised, almost all events were human failures, due to human failure.
Goodness.
So that is a issue of a concern.
So human failure, if it goes into wrong hands, just you imagine the catastrophe.
That's why I've added the word. If people, terrorists join as a normal joiner, he can play Merry Hell.
My God.
Nuclear accident and disaster, International Atomic Energy Agency, event that has led to significant consequences to people, environment, and facilities. Lethal effects to human, reactor core melt, and large radioactivity. These things are most dangerous. And you will be imagining the metal reactor core of number 4 reactor is still burning. That is in Chernobyl.
God.
It's a huge amount is there, but it is still burning. A very interesting thing has taken place today, is if you have read Times of India today. To avoid nuclear disaster in present war, Russia has taken over the largest nuclear plant, Zaporizhzhia in Ukraine, largest in Europe and Russia. This step is to avoid war-related nuclear disaster. आज के में Times of India में निकला हुआ है. So it's a very good step, I must say.
Yeah.
If you look at it in disasters in nuclear facilities, one cannot go and attack it, but there is always a fear in this situation. If some mad people are there, they grow and create a disaster. Imagine in this fire, lakhs and lakhs of people will die. This reactor is the largest in entire Europe and Russia.
Yeah, there were reports also coming stating that some fire broke out just nearer this nuclear
Yes.
plant, and then somehow it was controlled. That is the news which came out. But as you rightly said, if it is such a huge plant, if something goes wrong,
it's the biggest,
believe me,
biggest in Europe and Russia.
biggest in Europe and Russia. I hope viewers will understand the catastrophe, the damage it can create.
It's a very good, good step they have taken.
So Russians
So
are to be admired here. At least they have taken control of it, so that it is not attacked.
They have Chernobyl. They have taken control of this one also.
So Russians have taken control of both Chernobyl as well as this nuclear plant. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good move.
If we see detonation takes place, what all things happens? There is a blast wave. So blast wave, the highest blast wave is 760 kilometers per hour.
My God.
When this takes place, it roots away all multi-rise buildings, cemented plants, massive blocks. Everything will disappear.
My God.
Then comes, if the temperature is so high, the skin of the person who is exposed to that, he'll have blisters and blister all over. The skin will be off. You can see his muscles inside. Then there is a radiation. Then local radioactive fallout, where explosion has almost 60 to 70 kilometers all around. Then global radioactive. Chernobyl has caused global radioactivity. If you look at Chernobyl effect, Poland is suffering. Almost all the countries of earlier USSR part, they are getting exposed to this. It has gone to Sweden, it has gone to Switzerland, Finland. You name the countries, everywhere it has gone. And they are constantly getting it. Then comes electromagnetic pulse. This is at the third stage. It hardly kills a human being or living, but it causes short circuit or electricity or electronic facilities, all reactors, another areas reactors, wherever electricity related things are there, it causes huge damage to them, and it sometimes causes huge explosions in those things. Let's say there is a diesel issue which is generating electricity, it will just catch fire. So that is another issue. Then atmospheric disturbance. What will happen? The ozone layer will start getting problematic. So the effect of that on the ground will be colossal. Climate change will take place totally. Then the most important part is there, the microorganism bacteria, which generally do not cause serious sickness, they will become very powerful. And lots of cases will suddenly appear on the horizon in the cities. People will get diarrhea, the fever, they'll get pneumonia issue, they'll get abdominal disturbances and all. Everything will be there. For that, you require a very high dose, high performance, and great number of antibiotics to be provided to them.
So
We go to the next.
Yeah, it is really.
This is a very interesting report which was published. Biggest sufferer are children.
My God.
Reason: children are higher. The body quantum of water is much more than the adults. So they get dehydrated in no time. Their skull bone is thinner. So the brain damage takes place very fast. So RF radio frequency energy goes to the brain, start in the brain in a very young age. So if you look at the radioactive substances which were released by Chernobyl, these 5 were important, which is iodine. Iodine spread almost in the entire Eastern Europe. Iodine 131, cesium 137, 134, strontium, and plutoniums. And if you see the half-life of these, it is something phenomenal, just phenomenal. Look at strontium 90. Half-life is 29.2. It means almost 60 years. It goes into the earth. It goes into the soft soil, to the hard soil, to the rocky soil. It goes and rests in those rocky soils. And later on, by any means, if those rocks are brought up, they will start emitting huge amount of radiations of strontium to the communities. The plutonium also is the same thing. So they have adverse effects for years and years and years ahead.
My God. It's a huge. It's very huge. Iodine, cesium, strontium, and plutonium. My God.
Those were the main, ingredients. But here I have listed all kinds of, items there, like zirconium, niobium, rubidium, tellurium, iodine, barium. All these things are, when they are radioactive, they are really bad. It generally contaminates the water supply. So if you see down below, 96, 2011, the fresh water supply still has got high quantum of americium and plutonium in that. So if you're drinking that water, imagine what will happen. It's bad.
My God. So the principal source of fresh water supply in Ukraine. I don't know, our children are going to Ukraine for studies, and many people visit Europe. God bless them.
Reddy Saab, aisa hai, all these issues do not get publicized. They are kept hidden. So if it is known to masses, known to people, probably people with their knowledge may develop some ideas to rectify these things.
That's important. So at least damage has occurred. They should do something to rectify, and at the same time they should see that they should not get into such type of disasters again. Prevention is also much better. As doctors we always advise, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
How can you cure everything is in front of you. This radioactive substances, see how deeply at their half life, their full life, how can humans survive, how can environment, the earth, mother earth
Yeah.
environment can survive. It is going to damage everything. Everything living can be damaged, everything
Yes.
non-living also can be erased. Such a colossal damage these
Imagine,
radioactive substances.
imagine the future generation which is going to come.
Yeah.
If they are exposed, what will happen? You will see the pictures down below.
Yeah.
This is the quotes by the veteran atomic, the soldiers, those who participated at testing sites where atomic arsenals were tested.
Hmm.
He says in the Pacific there were 22,500 personnel. 13, we estimated that 18,500 have died due to leukemia,
My
cancer.
goodness.
So those 22,500 people, out of that, 18,500 have perished already.
My God.
So then, and another one says, since the end of World War II until the end of Cold War, 2,000 nuclear bombs have been detonated. No one knows where all.
Big story coming up from Dr. TSPR channel. 2000 nuclear bombs have been detonated. Where are they and what
Detonated.
collateral damage it is causing? In India also you have seen in Nalgonda in Telangana, my own Guruji, they fought against this nuclear type of invasion. Same thing happened in Tamil Nadu, you have seen.
Yeah.
And now they are trying to damage the Eastern Ghats. Slowly but surely, this nuclear search is going on shamelessly. How these governments and administrators are collaborating for the damage, not just damage to that area, but it will damage the entire living space. Why the hell they don't understand? And media doesn't cover such type of things. Very sorry state of affairs. Yes. Yeah.
Now you see this map. It's a unique 86 से लेके अब तक, now till now.
Okay.
Imagine the dose of radioactivity. Almost every part of the Europe is involved.
My God. I think no media has shown this, Dr. Arora-ji. Very surprising.
Huh?
No media has
That is
shown
what
this.
is there. So we all need to be aware of all these things. There is no question of panicking. Rectification can be done. Precautions can be observed. A lot of people can protect themselves. There are a lot of things which can be worked for all these people, animals, your vegetative life, your marine life, your insects. Why, sometimes you hear so and so insect is getting lost. These are the basically reason.
So it is there, the entire Europe, because of Chernobyl disaster in 1986. You have the picture on your screen.
Yeah.
You can cross check how it has affected the entire Europe. Europe still
Yes.
goes again with the arsenal, nuclear arsenals, shamelessly. Very surprising.
Actually, so much of nuclear reactors are being built in all over these areas. It is something, and it's a small land mass and a huge kind of these facilities. If let's say all undergo in a disaster due to some natural situation, imagine what will happen. We cannot just now I'll show you how it is affecting the environment.
Yeah. Next slide. I hope the entire European Union, United States of America, United Kingdom, and China, including India, including Pakistan, they do have some arsenal. You are listening. It is not a fancy
Yes.
item. It is not a fancy item. Understand? The people, citizens, concerned citizens of all the countries, the world, should make these fellows who are
Yeah.
at the helm, who are trying to rule us, not to indulge in this fanciful nuclear arsenals, whatever it is, to store it or to use it for electricity generation also. How dangerous these things are. even if something happens naturally, but for terrorist activities, we have seen how insane these terrorist activities have become over a period of time because of socio-economic equalities. That is what is ruining the world. We have seen during the pandemic, the richer have become neo-rich, the poorer are
Yes.
almost getting sunk. When such a socio-economic situation arises in the world, what would happen when you have such a big arsenal catering to whether it is electricity or you are trying to store it for otherwise? And now the defense race again, you are trying to showcase Ukraine to sell arms. That is also a big disaster if it is going to happen. So world, you should wake up. Pharmacy, insurance mafia to defense mafia, which is going to kill all of us. These fellows, they think they can go hide in bunkers like in New Zealand and all. How they were affected there also, they should understand. The World Economic Forum, those elites who are trying to damage the Mother Earth, they should be taught a lesson. Otherwise, everyone
Now
has
you
to.
look at this slide, it is very, very unique. You know how these radioactive materials, radionuclides, enter into the soil, goes and settle down in the hard rock areas, even goes below that into water tables. Then you keep on migrating up. When it comes to Earth, it evaporates, and along with rain, it comes back again. So it's a continuous cycle.
My God.
You cannot remove it.
You
Why
cannot
it is
remove it.
continuous? Because all these radionuclides, they have a half-life. So that half-life is 20 years. तो 40 years तक तो उसको कुछ नहीं होने वाला.
My God.
It is capable to cause damage.
It is capable to cause damage. Half life is 20 years and their maximum life period is 40 years. Once they get mixed with water and with hard rock, it will try to evaporate,
So if you,
and again it will come down to the earth through the rain.
yes,
Shall we damage ourselves? We are not the last. We are going to survive on this earth. Our children, their offsprings, the world has to survive. Shall we have a better environment? Divide off all this nuclear arsenal and the arms rat race. Think. Yes, sir. Shall I show you the next one? Yeah. Is
so
this the
now
one?
if you look at this line diagram, it's a very unique. How from air the precipitation take place. It goes to the crop, it goes to soil, it goes to animals, milk, meat. Everything is taken by a human being. So
No.
they are continuously supplying to all the living things on this earth.
My
Resulting is you are getting diseases, the lifespan is coming down. Diseases which are expensive, non-treatable, and suffering will be huge.
Diseases which are expensive for treatment, non-treatable, and the suffering is huge because it goes into earth, and through earth you have soil contamination.
Then come back.
They'll come back when through animals, when you drink milk or when you eat meat, and when you eat vegetables, everything is soil contaminated, and the air which you breathe is also highly contaminated with this radioactive nucleosides. Just understand, are we going to kill ourselves? Is there no way out?
So, Abhi, look at this air quality, what we call it air quality index. Countries where these kinds of
Now I have put
issues
this
have
one up.
taken place.
I think now I have put this radioactive material release, air and precipitation. I have shown this which you are watching, direct radiation, crops, soil, animals, through milk, meat. Again, it will come back to humans. It is
Abhi, every dust particle becomes a quantum. Quantum is added with these radioactive fissile material, join with them. It convert that air particulate, it's in the air, enters inside the human body. It is like a nano-nuclear bomb now.
my
It is
God.
going to cause huge damage to inside your lungs, inside your abdomen, you name it.
My God. So I
Now
hope
this slide is unique. If
This-
you look at this core, the metal core which is still there,
which ones are
temperature is 2000 degrees Celsius.
which ones are this one or specific
It is
environments. I'm just forest, freshwater ecosystems.
come down down
I'm just
below.
reading out for people. Fresh, what happens to on specific environments? Forest gone. You have seen in the Soviet Union, Northern Europe, and Austria what has happened. Freshwater ecosystems, they are damaged. The best examples are all the lakes in Ukraine and Belarus. Marine ecosystem were far less affected with radionuclide levels 2 to 3 times higher than pre-Chernobyl levels. Urban areas contaminated with radionuclides have experienced a very significant decline in contamination levels, especially on roads, roofs, walls. Radionuclides have migrated down into soil. Yes, sir.
So now you look at this, the core area of that base where that 2000 ton is lying. The temperature is 2000 Celsius.
There in that particular area.
So, same Chernobyl.
My God.
And it is very lucky that they have been able to remove that huge water from there.
Okay.
It was said if that water had remained there, it would have created a huge amount of steam, compressed steam, which would have destroyed on explosion. That explosion would have been the largest explosion of the world, would have destroyed the entire, major part of the Europe.
My God.
So it's so grateful to a couple of firefighters. They gave their life, but they were able to get lost of that water from there. But
God bless.
look at the temperature, 1000 degree.
My God, what is the temperature, sir? We are suffering if it goes beyond 40. Just unimaginable. 2000 degrees Celsius still in that Chernobyl plant. You find this temperature, and we are thankful to those souls who have removed that water, hot water. Otherwise, it would have wiped out, as the writer said, major part of Europe. Very sorry state of affairs. Still in Chernobyl, so it is like a time bomb. 2000 degrees Celsius still exists. This temperature is there in Chernobyl, in the leftover side. Yes, sir. Next, what is this? 1,60,000 kilometers and then Corium.
So now it is 1,60,000 square kilometer area totally is basically affected by the fallouts
Of Chernobyl disaster.
radioactivity.
1986 disaster.
Not Chernobyl. Oh, no, 86 disaster. The entire Europe, entire this Eastern Europe. I mean, you can imagine what is there. Now, if you look at the other side, there is something known as a corium. It is a melted material of the what you called as a 2,000 tons radio fissile material. So huge, like this, you will find it inside.
My God. Which you find in those movies, how they try to disappear, and you find this in English movies. My word.
And you look at the damaged Chernobyl area, that reactor, still the steam is coming out.
Yes, this lower part, this is the steam. Right, sir? This is the one.
Yeah.
This is the steam.
Yeah.
Still steam comes
This is
out
the
of
steam.
Chernobyl plant, and you have 2000 degrees Celsius, and above you see this like corium, and it has already affected 1,60,000 square kilometers of the earth. Imagine Europe, why people are suffering with those cancerous, such diseases, why they are getting affected when people move to Europe and US. Now, is this for this reason? Yes, sir, please.
So now if you see, this is the passage which was there. It is totally covered with a
This one, next one.
cemented cover up. They're repairing it. They are doing an entombing. They are making a tomb over it so that further should not create an issue. This was their abandoned cooling tower.
Okay. Still there.
So, it is still there. You look at these aircrafts which were got when the explosion came and the blast wave damaged all these aircrafts which were like that.
My goodness. They're at the plant. They were at the plant.
Look at the.
They were there at the plant, you mean to
You
say?
see, the vehicle is now, thick in jungle like.
Oh. And these aircraft were close.
All
close to the these
buildings, all these buildings, houses, people ran away from there. They left their houses.
so this is the present state of Chernobyl area. Aircrafts damaged
This
and
is the Chernobyl, because out of this, not a single, even a pin-like thing cannot be taken away because it is radioactive.
okay.
So people, those who go to visit those areas, they wear very thick gloves of lead, shoes, covering everything. They are told not to sit, not to touch anything. Now it has become a tourist spot.
Oh, still people visit.
A lot of people are visiting.
When they are visiting, they should understand what is the damage it has done, what is the damage it would have, can have, if such type of things
So
are
now
used.
look at these beautiful houses, how now they look like. This is the hospital, same hospital.
My God. So all children
So
died.
how do you prepare people? There are a lot of activities need to be done.
Next slide, sir.
This slide actually, this slide, everyone should keep it, read it, analyze it, because this is required to be done in a country, so that everyone we take it is prepared for such eventualities. So wherever nuclear disaster, monitoring facility, how to evacuate and shelter the people, iodine prophylaxis has to be given, because that will protect people from the bad effects. Medical aid, emergency radiation medicine, crisis communication, logistics, decontamination, mental health, dose assessment. It's a huge thing which needs to be put on the ground, and people should practice it. We may not see such disaster, but aane wale logon ko bhi awareness has to be there.
That is why iodized salt they call. That is what has become the world's salt in iodine, because we don't need actually in Indian part subcontinent. But still the world went agog because of this iodine prophylaxis, which is nothing but entire Europe or US, that 1,60,000 square kilometers radio sensitive area.
People, they take it actually.
So that is
People,
why
they take this thing there.
this is what is happening now. Many facts are coming out now. Yes, sir, please.
Now you look at this slide. This is basically a depiction of that. This is a nuclear arsenal burst at different zone of kilometer. What all damages it causes. It totally wiped out everything. The here buildings you can see all fallen down. Vehicles. So this is a total huge area destructions takes place. This is during nuclear attack, what all we should do, basically, and what we should avoid, because there is going to be huge flash of light. So we should avoid looking towards very, that is a preparation are required, not to look towards a very, very bright lights, so that becomes our habit. We need to move to a shelter area, be it underground, be it under the buildings and all those things. Move crosswind, because when this blast wave moves, we need to go against another side of that, so that we don't get caught in that. Take for yourself well. Then decontamination process. 12 to 24 hours are dicey, because effects of this radiations are going to be maximal. So based on that, the protocol need to be generated. Now look at this. They are the first two photographers who took the pictures of this Chernobyl.
Okay.
Now we come. What happens if you look at this heavy metal? This gentleman picture is there. His body into pieces. If a person is exposed to this blast, this is how his body disintegrates. There is a huge amount of heavy metal which our body also has. they get radioactivity of enormous in size. So the body is fractured into small pieces.
My goodness.
The radionuclear waves goes into inside a human body cell. It damages our DNA. It puts huge amount of calcium inside the cell. So the cell is going into stage of panic. Then preventive protein synthesis stops. The oxygen which is good for us become bad. So if you look at a whole lot of damage it causes, it may be electromagnetic pulse, it may be radiations. So all are same.
My God. Robo cinema.
So
You have
these
to
are
think
the
about robo cinema, how it attracts when it fights the robo. Rajinikanth movie.
these are the diseases which are people have suffered due to Chernobyl. They had suffered acute burns. Body is full of blisters. Skin is gone, muscles are visible or bones are visible. Then thyroid cancer, other cancers, children Down syndrome. The life is only 10 years.
My God.
Then a lot of children gone into autism problem. Then children are having birth defects in their legs. They have no leg or more legs or no hand or more hand. Then conjoined fetuses. Two children are joined together. Another kind of prostate or other tumors. Then acquired immune deficiency. We do not have a natural defense inside the body that gets destroyed. Then deep burns, breast cancer, miscarriages, heart problems, kidney problem. Then hormones are badly affected. Then the biggest is psychosomatic diseases like schizophrenia, sleep disorder, emotional issues, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's quite common. Then anxiety and depression, obsessive compulsive disorders. Our regenerative power goes off. Our brain regeneration finishes. Then radiation sickness. In our body, there are a lot of minerals are there. They become hyper, so they start damaging inside only. So these are the diseases which are caused by these.
My God.
Then comes acute radiation sickness. These are all the issues due to acute, immediately when the blast takes place. People will get all these sicknesses in their body.
Headaches, dizziness to heart arrhythmia, heart palpitations, difficult concentrating, memory loss,
Yes.
hearing loss. Everything happens. Everything. Acute radiation sickness syndrome. It is on your screen. Once the nuclear blast happens.
Now you look at this slide. These are the abnormalities in the newly born which you find. Two children joined together. Child with no hands, no legs, multiple toes. Look at two hands here, two hands here. Then brain becomes shrunken. Look at here. Same with the cow's offspring. You can see two legs extra here, two heads there. Flowers also has changed.
Goodness.
Look at these children pictures. This is a conjoined child. They were united together, but they have been separated now surgically.
Goodness. So everything is on your screen. What a better way, Dr.
Now
Arora
look
is
at
trying.
this. Can you imagine that? No one can even imagine a child of this kind will be born. Look at this chap. His all lymphatic system is blocked, so all lymph is filled in the legs. There is no treatment for this thing. This is a cancer development in the skull, brain. Look at this child is so thin. Look at his legs, arms. So the life expectancy of such defects is hardly maximum 10 years. Maximum. Look at this child. two heads together.
Goodness.
And how a person who is directly exposed, how he gets burns. Full body is burnt. Look at this elephant. Next to that play area, there are a lot of wildlife animals, they perished, died. This elephant is not dead, but he cannot move.
My goodness. Still surviving.
This is a down. Huh?
Still surviving there like that only.
Yes. Look at this Down syndrome child. What is the life? Maximum 10 years. And you keep on spending money. Here also, these are now separate hospitals have opened where psychiatrical treatment is there. All these children have gone into psychiatrical condition which were exposed. Look at this without eye. Look at this fish, two eyes, how this thing is forming. Look at this baby, this child without right and limbs are not there. This cow's offspring, both the heads together. Same with the deer. So these are not just photo, but they are in realities. It is there.
No media shows all these things. Very pathetic situation. They don't show
Look
all
at
this.
Newly born animal child, offspring. And then the baby child is giving for radiation. Poland is being given iodine to reduce the effect of sickness due to radiation. So everywhere there is a radioactivity, and sufferers are he, cow, the marine life fishery, and these plants, because those things were created in these areas. In such scenario, protection is provided by lead suits. These are now quite common. In Europe, you will find, especially wherever these events have taken place or suspected to be taken place, or there is a leakage somewhere, boys, girls, they wear, this is lead suit. Generally in X-ray department also person wears. This was the news those days, and this child is being checked for radioactivity at Vienna airport. So in Sweden, the earth coverage they were covering the earth with the dry plants and all those things so that the radioactivity should not spread around. Look at this. Pripyat is a small town next to Chernobyl, where all the workers of this Chernobyl plant used to live. So they left 47,000 of them, they moved out from there. Government provided them 200 trucks and 1,200 buses to shift them. And then they were treated into. So this town in Europe is known as a ghost town.
Pripyat. It's a ghost town.
Yeah. All the vegetables and plant products, this is in Berlin. So they all put it at one place and they probably later on burned. This is how the cars were, Germany bought inside. Firefighters were used to clean these cars because they are contaminated. Look at this lady. She used to sell, vegetables and fruits in Frankfurt market. But she says the atoms have destroyed us in 86. Because every vegetable, every eatable is contaminated. these two American ladies, they had come, they were in Kiev. So they wrote down on these t-shirts, Kiev was a blast 86. So world over, people awareness came just to know only this much, but they need to do a lot of things. These are one of the, Ukrainian Chernobyl came. This is, flower is being offered on the monument. So these boats are all those villages which were affected. All those villages. They do not exist now because no one stays in these villages. The earth, the plant, you name it, everything, it is filled with, radioactive materials. This is a decontaminated vegetable market. The sale of vegetables was being done. The biggest sufferer were these pets or dogs or cats. So the organization came forward to at least give them some food. And now people come for picnic into villages which are near to this side. So they also need to very clearly understand they're sitting on ground. All the grounds are contaminated. When they go home, they will carry this dust with them.
Okay. But still they go for picnic. Dangerous.
You see, this is that this Pripyat township. The Geiger counter is still there. It is still showing very high. This is 30 years. Just imagine.
So the radiation
67900 counts per minute. So it's a very huge radioactivity even now. Can you ever imagine?
My goodness.
This is a gift shop. So कहने का मतलब ये है अभी people are seeing it in a different dimension. All these damages, things are there. Schools, houses, hospitals. Look at these. Reason being why they have not been cleaned from here. It is a very pertinent reason for that. Because a dust particle is also radioactive. Where are you going to put them back?
I know.
So these are all houses of people which were left. That's why they are called ghost towns. Look at these. Now people are coming here to, visiting all these areas. The rule is very clear. You can see it from distance, but you cannot climb on that. These are the rules. But there is no, no check and balances. So issue is there when they are getting here, there is a high level of radioactivity. They will get exposed, and once they go back, slowly they will get the medical issues related with that.
Hope people understand this.
Should. This is the latest. You see, it is still throwing out.
The smoke, Chernobyl. My God.
Now, when this Russia invaded Ukraine, the resident of all those areas, they throw away their mouth, masks, gas mask, and this is what was there. Such a thick cloud type, gases are coming out. This picture was taken on 25th February 22, day before Russia invaded Ukraine. So you can see it's a point of worry. अगर इतना thick धुआं उसमें से निकल रहा है, I'm sure आने वाले time में it is going to cause something very phenomenal.
Something very phenomenal. And now the Russians have been walking all through that area. Don't you think even that would have the heavy vehicles and all? They're going ahead.
What has happened, such heavy vehicles, they have mobilized the dust which had settled down. So that dust is now flowing up in the air. This is all totally radioactive.
My God.
So the cloud, so that's why these people were wearing this. So they have thrown all this thing now. So issues is not so simple. You take over the place, Ukraine, but what kind of environment you are taking? People like large number of armed forces soldiers, they're going there. They will get exposed. So this is what has been done now. Reactor 4 has been covered with a dome, but still huge amount of धुआं उसमें से निकलता रहता.
Hmm.
So this radioactive material damages our mitochondria. This is called an industry inside our cell. Industry means it generates all our energy inside by taking a lot of material what we eat, and this is corrected here. This is our human cell. This is the nucleus. Inside is a DNA and RNAs. This DNA gets denatured, destroyed, replicated, damaged. So the new offspring who will come will have abnormalities, will have diseases, which will have no treatment, and a huge pressure or issue of developing varieties of cancers, leukemia, breast cancer, brain cancers, which are there. You name it, all varieties are there now. So this Chernobyl should open eyes for everyone in the world. It is not so simple, first of all, you run a facility like this by closing your eyes and keep on committing mistakes, because that is going to be deadly and dangerous. The world has seen Chernobyl. What happened in Japan, that Fukushima, it was not a human error. It's a big tsunami which came there. It went and hit and did the damage.
Nature.
So, yes, the whole lot of this, in fact, I have forwarded you that link. It's a YouTube link. You must share it with the people, must see that YouTube. It's a very good recording of this Chernobyl, what all happened and why it happened and who all were responsible and what has been done to them.
How much time
That was
that link is of
very interesting actually.
that link is of how much duration, sir?
It's almost 1 hour duration.
Oh no, we can't even think of playing it.
Yeah, you can forward it to people, those who are watching these in their free time. They must watch that.
Yeah, they will watch.
उसमें सबसे बड़ा issue जो है, उसमें जो सबसे बड़ा issue, one of the boss is not 24 hours are not there in the site. But a person who was 24 hours are there, he told him something that this is happening. So he probably used bad words for him. And he said, go to bloody hell, nothing will happen. And you have seen what has happened after that. That person is no more who raised this query. They went running here and there to rectification for controlling the system, to stopping that catastrophe. But he lost. But this person, he was given 19 years of life imprisonment. There are 3 officials were given this much punishment. inside the jail. It is due to your folly. People have died, people are dying, and people will die due to your mistakes. You are trained fully, you are aware of the subject, you've done everything. That's why you put there. But if you commit a mistake of this kind, because in a nuclear facility, there is no scope of mistake. Mistake means not only you take away the life of millions. And then you continue to take, like Chernobyl is doing continuously.
Wonderful. I think this show also should be an eye opener because you have presented everything very kind of you. And before we say bye, now you tell me as a war veteran, how safe after that heavy trucks pass through the eastern Ukraine, the bordering Belarus, Russia. Till now, no one was visiting, no heavy vehicles were passing. Now, in the name of war, they have surrounded Chernobyl, the other nuclear reactor, but no one was just going that side. Now, this heavy vehicles and all, how do you visualize Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, and the Europe, that part of the world now?
They will spread this wherever they go. And the worst scenario will be when heavy vehicle pass, you make the soil loose. And airflow, that soil will fly. Wherever it goes, it is going to create a radioactivity there. Whosoever is going to get exposed, he may not be in Chernobyl area, but sand has got, or the soil has got no limitations. The more the air, faster movement, it will go for far distances. And wherever it goes, the people are going to get exposed. I was seeing one image, I couldn't capture that image. In army units area in Ukraine, where Russians have gone, they have used in a water cannons along with some chemical to spread into all those areas so that it counters those radioactive material, plus the air should not take away this radioactive material, dust or soil. That is what has been done there also. But it's a huge task. In a war scenario, one cannot undertake such a thing. The effects will be visible after the war is over. We will start seeing cases. We'll start hearing about them. That is going to happen.
I only hope media will make it more visible as they have done with unknown pandemic. You mean to say
Yes.
Russia will pay a huge price and the world at large who have ignited Russia to go to that stage will have to pay a heavy loss. I mean, the Europe still, NATO, Europe, US, daily they are trying to tickle Russia, and Russia also looks to be very adamant without understanding what it is doing. As you rightly said, the Chernobyl area with huge trucks, heavy trucks, this radioactive substances through air or through water may move away from that Chernobyl area into Ukraine or Europe, wherever it is the wind's direction, it may, and it will affect people. We have seen what radio substances can do. We have shown you on the screen how it will affect humans, nature or natural lives, the symbiosis with nature, how environment gets damaged. Yep, sir.
It's a huge damage it causes, and that's why in starting word I have said, it has killed, it is killed, and it will keep on killing.
It will keep on killing.
What is required? Yes.
Keep
one
on.
Cannot stop that.
So it is whether they are threatening with nuclear war, but already the nuclear war is on. Unfortunately,
Yes.
the innocent citizens of the world will have to pay a price because allowing these type of rulers, dictators, these type of rulers who are destroying democracy, they are playing havoc with our lives. They may go to some corner and because of that huge money and all, they may settle. But even there also, what I have rightly said, if the wind direction and through water, it may reach them also.
Yeah.
No one is safe.
100% of the population of the world is likely to be exposed.
So,
So, with this, I thank you very much. And those who are, listening all these things, if they have any questions, they can always ask me through WhatsApp or through you.
wonderful. Through WhatsApp or through me, you can always shoot questions. And more than the nuclear war, more than the war which is happening, it is because of these trucks, heavy loaded trucks, which have bypassed eastern
Yes.
Ukraine, where the Chernobyl disaster, Chernobyl plant is located. Even to this day, 2000 degrees centigrade, which is there in that area, such hot area, the steams are coming up. Now what? With the soil getting loosened, with the wind, and if it rains, with the water, there is every danger of this resulting in human colossal losses with their health and with their survival,
Cost.
and the environment are also the environment, major impact on the environment. So you cannot have a natural living. We are already paying the price now. What shall we do now?
Yeah.
Think, what shall we do and what should we do now? You kindly think, and only that way you can stop these dictators, these warmongerings who have been making money out of pharmacy and insurance. Now through this defense budget, if they want to, it will be at the sole cost of their own precious lives and of the mother earth. All those humans and livable, pleasurable things will be a part of history. Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Right,
much.
Ajay.
Very kind of you.
Thank
Wonderful.
opportunity for
It is a wonderful narration, sir. At this age, you have come out with such beautiful PowerPoint presentation, making the world awake. We know they keep on hacking our channel. Do whatever you feel like. We are coming up with all the evidences. What war can do. Now, the starting of a war, this war has already created a mess. How should we overcome that mess of this nuclear radioactivity, which is going to kill everyone or which is going to damage the environment, wherein the living becomes. It is up to you, and we will retelecast this on Environment People,
worst,
Dr.
worst
T.S.
thing,
Yes, sir, please.
120 kilometer area of Chernobyl area around, with firing, with guns, with missiles impact, with truck movement, huge amount of dust which is having a huge amount of radioactive material, is the whole Chernobyl will become a whole Ukraine also will become a Chernobyl type, because that radioactive material will now start playing havoc. It will start causing medical issues with them gradually, because the dust will spread everywhere.
My goodness. I hope at least the world will sit and start rethinking.
People must.
People
There is
must.
a requirement to do, in case it showers there, in case it snows there, at least it will not move very, very far distances. But otherwise, it is not a good thing to even listen to all these things.
It is not a good thing to listen to all these things. Now, people of Ukraine, Belarus, entire Europe should start thinking to stop this nonsense. At least
Yeah.
how to overcome this. Now, what, as he rightly said, the dust, if it starts migrating from that area, already these vehicles have gone. Maybe they would have already got this radioactive material with them. They are going everywhere, and all those unfortunate
Yes.
soldiers, whether they are because of Russia or Ukraine, whoever it is, our heart goes with them because they are all our fellow human beings. They are our citizens of this
They're,
mother planet, wonderful
they're
one.
all exposed.
They're all exposed. Now, with that exposure, they are migrating everywhere. Think, think what Ukraine war has already created a mess for our survival. Now, Europe, if you don't
True.
come out of this NATO and Europe, you will have to pay a heavy, heavy price. The people in NATO countries and Europe should take the call now, should take the call seriously. Now, see that the Chernobyl after effects or the radioactive nucleoside doesn't spread from that area, at least from
Yes.
Ukraine. Otherwise, Belarus,
Mm.
Poland, you as people migrate with them, the
Yeah.
radioactive materials also will start entering every country. It's such a
I mean,
big danger.
thousands and thousands of percentage of people are moving out from this Ukraine. Daily they are moving out. Imagine if they are taking these contaminated, dust and all those things. Because if they test all these what you are carrying, just imagine what is going to happen.
Just catastrophe. Can't even imagine. So many 26,000 Indians have been there, very close to this nuclear Chernobyl reactor. Unfortunately,
Yes.
our people, medical seats have become so costly. Those intelligent
Uh,
students who are missing it in the name of whatever it is, they're all gone there spending their fortunes. Just imagine. I just sincerely pray.
those boys and girls need to be screened for a couple of months.
It's a big advice coming up from Dr. Arora-ji. Those boys and girls should be screened for a couple of months for any radioactivity in their bodies, because
Yes.
they will become
Yes.
sitting
Yes.
ducks for the entire country also. And unfortunate that we are going through these times, and not only Indians, we feel our heart goes with all those Ukrainians and the Europe and also the Russians.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they have landed into this mess because of the ignite. The ignite is somewhere else. They were feeling insecure. That insecurity, who has created? They're all equally responsible for this catastrophe. No one should go punished, as the world is opening up to the bare facts of Pfizer vaccine and all. How? Now they will also be punished. Now, what about this war mongering? It is already going to take a heavy toll. I only sincerely hope Europe and NATO, including Russians and Ukrainians, will sit down now at least. Sit down and plan something so that we can all stay safe, hale and healthy while protecting the environment. Yes, sir. Any pausing comment? You wanted to say something?
That's all. Thank you. So nice of you.
Very kind of you, sir. With your blessings, we are trying to make people to become more and more knowledgeable. The real telecast will happen next week sometime on Environment People Dr. TSPR channel. Do support us, but I cannot say Sukhanidra
Yeah.
Shubharatri because such a big, it is like a time bomb for all of us. Such a big news coming out of this show. Already the radioactive substances, nucleosides, will be doing something very bad for Ukraine and the Europe, and all those unfortunate students who have been visiting, they will be going back to the respective countries, and also the migration exodus of the people when it is happening. What if they are going through this radioactive nucleosides with them, with the
We all
go-
need to be watchful. We all need to be watchful. Everyone, those who are in those countries and moving into those countries, wear that protective gears of lead so that at least some protection will be there.
wear protective gear of lead, at least some protection will be there. All should be watched, and it is already a sickening feeling now. I really, after this show, because the facts have come out, the truth has come out, and I'm very honored and thankful to such wonderful guests like Dr. Arora-ji, who have come to this channel, and they have really given these experiences when it matters. Because at least now we should do some damage control exercise. Otherwise, the entire
Yes.
universe, believe me, will be into trouble. Entire universe will be in be trouble. I hope you have enjoyed doing this show, sir, connecting people from wherever they are and allowing you to speak whatever you feel like.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a
sir.
lot. I'm so thankful to everyone
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful
for
to have you.
listening this and giving a message, feeling a thought process. We need to look on this side. let's not close our eyes.
Look on this side, let us not close our eyes. So that is why I am not going to say anything as I was doing before ending. You have to keep your eyes open on this radioactive nucleosides material which is going to flare up from Chernobyl, because the heavy trucks have already gone past there and the guns blazing. God knows what is going to happen. Let us keep our eyes open and ears to listen so that we will act for our own survival. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Shubhratri.
For you also, Shubharatri. For the world, wake up call. We are going to retelecast this next week continuously till we get Dr. Arora ji on another topic. This topic will be very eternal and we are going to retelecast it n number of times. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.